Welcome to the Wedco podcast, where wedding wisdom meets street smarts.
We're dishing out all the tips, tricks, and wedding goss to take your wedding to the next level.
Time to ditch the formalities and get this party started. Hello and welcome to the Wedco podcast. I'm Toga from the Tognazinis.
And I'm Joel from Wonderful Images, and we're here at the beautiful Gabbinbar in Toowoomba.
Certainly are. We got Riss from Emunah on the podcast with us.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's been really exciting. The whole talk up, we're like, what are we going to talk about the whole way up here? So very, very excited. Can you we'll start off with a little bit of who you are and your backstory, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm Carissa, or Riss, as most people in the industry refer me as. So I own Emunah Events. I've had this little baby now for about just over 8 years. Started it when I was, 34 weeks pregnant with my son, which
As you do.
You start a business when you're that heavy. No, always been in the kind of the wedding world. I have a finance background, so worked for a big fund major bank and executive assistant kind of role. So always doing lots of little bits and pieces, organizing, all that kind of stuff. And I kind of fell into it a little bit and never really left it.
Okay.
So have a beautiful team of girls. We do everything from floral design, styling. We have in-house stationery. We have a huge high range of styling products that never seems to end. So yeah, it's been a hell of a journey, and we love what we do, and we've tried really hard to be really true to ourselves these days.
Yeah. I remember coming to a wedding a couple of weeks ago with you, and I was like looking at the color, and I was like, is this yours? And you're like, yep. And I was like, and what about the candles? And you're like, yep. I'm like, I've not seen any of this stuff before.
Yeah.
And like the plates, yep.
Yeah, a lot of our stuff I feel from a higher point. Like I've got a beautiful studio down in Brisbane I've had for a few years now, and I have everything in there and everything's on display.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have other people come in, stylists, planners, they can look at it, they can touch it, they can play with it. The more it gets out, the better for me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We have a lot of stuff that I didn't have photographed and I didn't have time to post about because gets busy.
Yeah.
So I try any excuse to get it out, and a lot of the time there's always little add-ons just chucked in the side on my clients because I want to see it out there and I want to see it photographed.
Yeah.
But no, it's never ending. It really isn't.
Do you find like styling stuff that you bought early on in your career, does any of it go out of fashion where you got it 4 years ago and now it just doesn't get rented, or you have to,
Correct. We have a rule in the warehouse, and also I gave it to myself because I was just buying too much, and I ran, I've literally reached the point where I've got to stop.
Yeah.
I love my warehouse, but I don't need a bigger one because then everything else will evolve. Once you start, it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
So we do have a rule: if it doesn't go out or at least hired within 6 months of me receiving it, she pretty much gets sold straight away.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So each Christmas we kind of do like a warehouse sale where it could be candles or seconds or something that's come back that's not quite good enough for us to put out on a wedding, but someone would be more than happy. And like last year we did it, I think it was a couple of weeks after Christmas.
Yeah.
Had 10, 20 people lined up out the front of the office and they just literally came in, took all of their stuff. So it was great.
Yep.
I then had shelf space and I could buy more. Little did I already had lots on pre-order. But no, we try and rotate as much as possible. There's a few pieces that I would class as our staples that won't go anywhere because we find that we're using them all the time, and I just end up getting more quantity of them.
Yeah.
So I can do more.
Yeah, fair.
I find your styling is very different to, a majority of businesses around, like say Brisbane, the Gold Coast. You got a very distinctive style.
Yeah, I think would have been probably about 3-4 years ago, I guess COVID, that fun part of our life. I did a massive business overhaul during that time. It was almost a blessing in disguise to a degree. Some people might disagree with that. Yep. I was still working for a major bank.
Yeah,
so I essentially was doing 2 full-time jobs at the same time, 2 computers and roll back between them. It was great fun.
Yeah.
But I essentially stripped my business from start to finish, every process, every system, every pricing, every branding decision I made. And I kind of knew that I had to make some changes.
Yep.
And during that, I was like, I want to do what I want to do. And I'm a country girl by heart. Like I love my country music, my house and all that.
Couldn't have told.
I love it to death. But for me, from a styling point of view, I love very French provincial, very European inspired. I love layers and soft flowy fabrics, but lots of very garden English inspired stuff. That is my bread and butter. It's what I love.
Yep.
And I did find that here in Australia, we were probably a little bit behind. Like American weddings are insane, but they do fine art incredible.
Yeah.
Everything is so cohesive and everything's thought out a little bit more. They spend a bit more than they do here.
Yeah.
But there's just so much more variety out there. So I really wanted to try find and do things that were a little bit different to everyone else.
Yeah.
So I did kind of go, right, if I want to attract the people that I want to attract, I can only show what I want to show. So I spent money on branding shoots. We rebranded, same name, but different logos, which I had custom drawn for me, which is literally the epitome of what I wanted.
That's
Everything from colors, from typos. And like I spent hours back of house. Like I do my own website, I do all my own social media, but I was like, I need to show what I want to do. And it's just kind of, I haven't really looked back since. I say no to things when they're not my style. And I remember saying, I had a beautiful big wedding come across. It was like 40, 50 grand for a budget. And I was like, And I looked at the concept and they go, oh no, I don't like garden roses. And I'm pretty sure my heart broke into two. And I was like, no, I can do this. Think of the money, Carissa. Think of the money. And I sat there for about 3.5 hours working on this proposal. And I just got to a point where I was like, I can't do this wedding. Called the planner at the time. I was like, hey, like, we've got a problem. She's like, no, you can do it. You can do it. And I was like, yeah, I can. But I don't want to.
Think of the styling gear you can buy. Think of the candles.
She should have said that. She would have taken it on.
Well, that's it. I crossed and I sat down with my hubby and I was like, I've got this opportunity, but nothing about it is me. Like, yes, it's about the client. I'm not going to lie about that. But there was not one element that I could say was Emunah.
Exactly.
And like, I love doing weddings so people can go, oh, that was an Emunah wedding. Like, I've had it and I love that feeling. Or people go, oh yeah, we know what you're doing. And so I called the bride, like I had a great relationship with her and I told her, like, I'm sorry, but I can't do it. And she's like, I'll change. I was like, no. Like,
is it me?
Exactly. I was like, no, it's your day. Like you have exactly. And I gave a recommendation and it was incredible. And like, I looked back at the photos of the actual wedding after and I'm so glad that they ended up going with the florist that ended up doing it because she was amazing. And like, it was epitome of what they were. And I sat back and I could sleep at night. I wasn't stressing about anything, but I was just true to me to make sure that, again, like we definitely still get some stuff that we probably wouldn't class as our standard. They're definitely for the money.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't share them on social media.
Yeah, exactly. You got some like work weddings and you got some that are, exactly.
Absolutely.
It's like even if that job had been amazing, which it would have been, and then it's still like, cool, then I share that on social media and then I'm just booking all these weddings that I don't want to do and you're kind of back at square one again.
Correct.
Doing the weddings that you didn't want to do in the first place.
Exactly. And there is obviously, I still have bills to pay and like I've got a rent for my warehouse and I have staff to pay and there is that fine line. But I think it gets to a point where you're only ever going to continue in that same circle if you don't take a step back and go, no, I'm going to do me. So that was a big thing post-COVID that I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do me and do it 100% my style and push the boundary just a little bit further.
Well, it takes courage because it's even hard to say no to a small job.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
God,
like, when you're like, well, you've already spent it. Like the money's like, here, they're about to sign a contract. And you're like, I've already spent that money. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's hard to say no.
I have done that many times.
Well, you just talked about your staff a little bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about like the team?
Yeah. So at the moment I have 2 beautiful girls on my team. So I have Grace, who is what I class as a floral designer and floral advisor.
Okay.
So Gracie, she's been with me just over about a year. She's a qualified florist. She started off for me as like my little warehouse girl. And then my other beautiful Elise is currently on maternity leave. So she's got a little baby who's not so little anymore. So she's been off now for about almost onto a year. So she's due to come back early next year. And she was also the same. So she was my senior floral designer.
Can you define the difference between those? Like florist,
absolutely. So florist to me, you can have retail florist, you can have a wedding florist, event florist, all that. But for me, for weddings and my type of clients, I refer to them more as a floral designer or a designer in part because most people can pick up some flowers and put them in a vase quite nicely, but designing takes a little bit more. It's understanding, it's a live product. It's understanding how they sit in certain elements, their movement. Like I'm a big person about movements. Like you guys have both shot my kind of bouquets and how they move. Like I want my bouquets to jiggle when they walk down because we look at flowers for how they look and they have that movement. And my girls, like I've had plenty of staff over the time, but my girls at the moment, like they really understand the movement of the flowers and the construction of them. So I like to refer them as floral designers. Grace does what I call floral advisory, which is a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. So for me, my job is to meet with my clients, get business, proposals and quotes and on-sites and installing, whereas there's a lot of behind the scenes when it comes to florals that people don't realize. Like we have to send orders to wholesalers 4-6 weeks in advance. Half the time we haven't actually finalized anything until that 4-week mark. So we're going off estimates on pricings and things that we've been given the week of that we priced up 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So we've got systems that we implemented in place that are like a worksheet that basically break down every single stem that we're using, the cost per item, what type of variety, what's going into each different, I guess, element. If we're making a vase piece, like how big's the vase, how many stems are going in this vase. So Growth, Grace and Elise both do it. So they basically sit there and they work out all of my ordering, send them off to the wholesalers. Wow. They pick the flowers up, they bring them back, they condition them, we make them together, come on site and do all of it. So it's not just playing with flowers.
Yep.
There's a lot of admin behind all of that kind of position. So my girls are very special.
Yep.
I love them both very much and they've both bring very, very different aspects to Emunah. And I guess that's a level of what we do that maybe other people don't, or they don't. I guess I don't do all of that anymore. I definitely used to, and I definitely will continue to for certain things. But it's quite a process.
Yeah, and it makes sense, doing both, but doing both the stationery and then the floral design. Yeah, that's going to help you kind of keep that cohesion through the whole wedding.
Yeah,
day.
Definitely. I think for us, our biggest thing, especially when we did our little bit of a rebrand and trying to be as true to ourselves and most of my clients would be aware that you guys have seen things too. It's for us as a stylist, you're not just coming into a space and just adding, as a florist or a floral designer, you're not just coming into a space and putting some flowers on the table. There is so much more to it. For us, it's that initial kind of, you walk into a space, it's that initial view that sets the scene for everything. That starts at your invitation that they get in the mail.
Yeah.
It starts at the welcome sign when they first walk on the venue. Then they're going into a garden party or a cocktail hour to ceremony. Everything to me has to flow.
Yeah.
A big thing, I am very much about purposeful florals as well. You can have flowers everywhere. By all means, go for it if that's your vibe.
Yeah.
But have purpose with them. Not every corner of the room needs to have flowers.
Yeah.
Controversial maybe. Hey, if you want to pay for it, go for it. Be your best friend.
Photographs, right?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. These days, people are obviously on different budgets. Things can be repurposed, moving things around. So I'm very much a big person on that. But it's the same when you go into a space in a reception space. Yes, we've moved your ceremony florals in and they've now behind the bridal table or looking at a cake or a champagne tower or whatever it might be. But you're then looking at the tables and that cohesiveness follows through. So your welcome sign and your seating chart are going to be cohesive with your stationery that's on the table for your place cards, your menus, your place settings, your napkins, all of it tells a story.
Yeah.
And we want that to then transfer through.
And even just if you are relocating those flowers from ceremony, it's it kind of has to match what the reception vibe is.
Exactly. And we've definitely had clients that want this really super garden look for their ceremony, but have a very minimalistic view inside, which might have just simple oak slabs and simple bud vases. But then it comes down to our floral choice. Yep. So if you've got a super garden inspired ceremony that's got lots of softness in it, we're using very delicate spring florals or whatever it might be, but then you've got big, heavy imported roses, we're then going to add a different element of softness, say, in their napkins that they're using or the stationery. So it still keeps it cohesive, but obviously it might be from a budget point that we've made those changes.
So is that where it's kind of coming into where you're saying floral design? It's about the flowers, but also it's about the styling and the linen and the napkin.
Yeah, definitely. Floral design is still different from, I guess, a florist to a stylist. Yeah. For me, floral design is more, I guess it's the same as being a florist, but there's a more of a design element to it. You're actually taking everything else into consideration.
Yes,
it's not just I'm hired just to put some flowers on the table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, styling is a whole nother world again.
Yeah.
And again, for us, floral designing and styling, your florals go hand in hand with your styling because at the end of the day, you could have styling that is very soft, very editorial, very dramatic, but then you've got these super garden florals. And to me, it's you're telling two different weddings.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think there is definitely that fine line. There are some beautiful florists or floral designers out there who offer some basic hire items that might be candles or runners. Does that define them as a stylist?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
to me personally, no. I, again, might be quite controversial to some people, but for me, as styling, it's so much more than just florals and candles.
Yep.
There's so many more layers.
Candle holders. That doesn't make me a stylist.
No, and you know what?
Please don't hire me to be a stylist.
And I'm all for at the end of the day, we've got beautiful couples that still want an element of DIY.
Yeah.
And they might come to us just purely for florals and they're going to provide their own candles. They're going to provide their own menus that they've gotten from Etsy or Vista or whatever. You know what? There's some beautiful little designers out there and some of our clients have impeccable taste.
Yep.
And that's fine, totally fine. We generally still end up putting them all out. We might then have specific places that we'll put them, depending on the venue. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I definitely think from a styling point, it's a little bit more involved these days.
I've never thought about like the difference between that. Like, yeah, we can be, a photographer and videographer from separate businesses. That if we're not like from the same, we don't work together a lot. Cool. We can work side by side.
Yeah.
But the whole experience isn't going to be the same as if it's like from the one company and we work together all the time. We know what each other are doing. I'm sure a lot of stylists and florists all like, say you were just doing florals and there was another stylist from outside, you'd still talk to each other and know what the brief was.
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're all in-house and you can work together towards that goal, it's going to be more cohesive.
Oh,
like
definitely.
You're saying.
And I love working with other stylists and I love working with other wedding planners because you end up doing things that you might not, like at the end of the day, they wouldn't have come to you if they'd been booked through something else. And there's like, I guess there's that line too that people kind of like, well, why didn't they come to me? Like I can do everything. Well, they might not have. And that's the thing, like we've definitely floralized for other people's styling jobs and vice versa. We've styled and then had external florists come in to do the work because it might not be 100% us. We might be doing another wedding at the same time. There's all those different kind of situations, but we are finding more and more now, like our clients want a whole, I guess, kit and caboodle. They want that whole cohesive look from start to finish where they can go, yep, I've locked this person in. They're going to do my florals. They're going to do my styling. They're going to do my stationery. They're going to do my hire. I don't have to worry about anything else. One person, one contact. Done.
Yeah, it makes sense. We've found that in the industry too, where it's like, people just want that one contact. They're like, cool, like there's so much to organize in a wedding.
Correct.
So it's just like, if I can minimalize, like imagine if you're getting a photographer and a videographer and a florist and a stylist and a planner and like, you could just minimize that down to two businesses.
Definitely. And like obviously wedding planning, like that's their job. They are there to source and to do it all. And that's great if they have one. But like there's some venues that have great coordinators, like obviously here at Gabbinbar, like you can go on a portal and get everyone you're ever going to need. And it's so easy. And you know what? That's all my best clients come from here because you know what? I can just see everything so easy. I don't have to worry about anything. Like you don't need an external coordinator here.
Exactly.
Like if 100%. You do, like that's fine, but you don't need it.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Going back to like employees, you were saying earlier that you have full-time staff and you really enjoy that. I feel like a lot of times in this industry, it's kind of people have their own businesses and we're all kind of freelancing for other companies to kind of feel like, I'm not booked, I'll work for you and all that kind of thing. What do you see as the benefits of actually having full-time staff within Emunah?
So I wish they were full-time. So they're permanent part-time. Just because if they hear it, they're going to be like, wait, am I full-time?
They like to pay rise. It's the same thing these days, isn't it?
Oh, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I have my girls on permanent part-time purely because for me and the type of work that we need, it's consistency. I definitely have freelancers that work for me, both in all different areas as stylists, as florists, all of that kind of area. But for me, knowing that they work a standard amount of hours per week for me, they work across all of my different jobs. I don't cap my girls. So they might be on 20 hours, but if we have a big wedding week, they might do 30 hours. They might do 40 hours. I have not an issue in the world with that. But it means that they kind of remain loyal.
Yeah, for sure.
Freelancers are great. And like I've got a beautiful freelancer that comes and works for me all the time. And like even her style has changed and touched me in different ways. Like I've then done things different. I've learnt things. And like after 8 years, like getting that interactive across different places, like God, you learn. It's great. And like I'm a big thing for education and trying to get my girls upskilled. If they want to learn something, I'll happily send them off to do something because it makes me a better person. It makes my business better, grows them as well. Like it'd be crazy not to. But I do find that having a couple, again, my advisors and stuff, because there's so much behind the scenes, they know so much about my business. Like I'm a pretty open book, but there's still certain things that I want my girls to understand and know, but it's not, I guess, public knowledge at the end of the day.
And then so like they are just Team Emunah, like this is what we're doing as a brand, like this is where we're going. And they're invested in it as well.
And they know my style. Both girls have come from other companies that did slightly different styles. But when they came to me, like Elise, when I first met her, like she was down in Canberra at the time and she was relocating up here with her partner. And like when she first job, she did it and I was like, it's like magic. It was beautiful. And like everything that she did, I was just like, it's like you've taken my hands, but you're doing it. And I was just like the design, the way it was. And like, again, she did stuff that I was like, I never thought of doing it that way.
Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
And I love that. And then I want my girls to feel like my business is a part of them. Like, it makes them go, I can't leave. But it just, they have the passion that I have. And that's my number one thing. I want my girls to love what they do and to go on site and love everything that they create. I don't want them to create something that they don't get to finesse about.
Yeah, especially in the wedding world where you're like,
oh God, yeah.
This is someone's wedding day. This is not just like another corporate event, slap some flowers on the table and move on. It's
I love my corporate jobs. They're normally they're pretty good. But it's not a space we do a lot of.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Was it scary taking on permanent part-time staff?
I think the scariest point was when I actually got my warehouse.
Yep.
I remember coming home to my husband and being like, so I quit my job today. And he was like, oh, me too. And I was like, holy damn. I said a lot of other bad words.
Yeah.
He had another plan in place. He's like, we didn't kind of discuss that. And I was like, yeah. I also signed a lease for a warehouse.
It's a 5x5.
Flat larger. And it was just, we just made a moment and like, I didn't pay myself for a little while. And now I make that a priority. Like I have kids, I have a house and I have all that kind of stuff. But there's definitely times through the year that I'm like, oh my God, I have stuff to pay. And then other times I'm like, no, it's fine. Like I make sure like my staff are my priority. I'm pretty flexible with them and what they need and what they don't need. And I kind of roll with it, but I wouldn't be able to do what I do and the capacity that I have if I didn't have staff.
Yeah. It's so tough because like it gets to those times when you're like, I'm just working for my staff.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's the good times when you're like, this is amazing. I couldn't do it without staff as well.
God,
so it's that double-edged sword.
I still remember the first day and my beautiful Nicole, because she'll probably listen on once I tell her that I'm on this. Yeah. She was the first ever person I brought on as a staff member and actually gave her like information about my business. It was terrifying. And we were in my old house down the bottom. It was me and my sister-in-law when she was a part of the business. And we did like a trial and I was like, this is a bunch of flowers. This is your concept. And I said to her, I want you to make a bouquet for me. And she made it. And it was the first time ever I sat in the corner watching her make this bouquet. And I'm like sitting there like, I was so anxious. I'm literally like trying so hard, like sitting there. And my sister-in-law was just like, are you okay? And I was like, I have never felt so uncomfortable in my life. I had to do it. Like I had to do it to be able to grow the business. Yeah. But it was like that moment of going, take this bridal bouquet and make it like me.
Yep.
For the first time ever. And it was terrifying. Now my girls, like I still make probably 90% of every bouquet for a bride that comes through us. Yep. I'm handmake myself.
Yep.
And that's a sentimental thing for me. It's a personal thing. Like I'm there from start to finish. So if the girls are making them these days, I'm like, they do it. They know me. They do me. They can make it incredible. But I still remember that time that I was like, I'm giving over the reins.
Yeah. It's tough. It's been a conversation that we've had a bunch lately.
Yeah.
That we've got some staff and just like taking, like just giving that control and what that can do.
Absolutely.
I can't remember. Actually, I think it was Emily and Sam's wedding and I think it was one of their mums and it was a speech that like really spoke to me. It's probably so weird if she listens to this, but it was around the time that I'd just kind of taken on someone and she was like, if you want to go far, do it yourself. If you want to if you want to go fast, do it yourself. If you want to go far, do it together.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like that's so good.
It is.
She was obviously talking to them in a marriage sense. I took that to a business sense.
It makes total sense. I couldn't agree more. Like when my first ever part-time staff member, when Nicole came on, it honestly allowed me to do so much more and invest so much of my time back into the things that actually made my business better. Like my job is to bring in the business. It's to have the communications. Like I love going on site and I love being creative and I still do, but now it's maybe for more specific weddings or certain sized weddings or a design that maybe the girls need 2 or 3 of us on. Like I, to a degree, pick and choose. Like I love getting to go out on site and create. Like who doesn't in this industry? Like that's where my passion is. But being able to have conversations with my staff, like my clients and like designing for them, like I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
Clients, are they coming to your warehouse space or like how does it work?
Yeah, so I love having my clients come in.
Yep.
My warehouse is very much me.
Yep.
Every aspect of me. Furniture that I wish I could have at home, but I can't because of the children.
Business expense.
Exactly. Oh God, yeah. No, when I got this warehouse, like I really wanted it to be as close to perfect of what Emunah is.
Yep.
The styling, like all my hire stuff is on display and it's perfectly laid out. We've got stationery samples. I've got chair samples. I've got cutlery and glassware from some of our like key venues in the warehouse as well. So we can actually create settings for people to sit at, to look at, to interchange colors. So a lot of my consults will start, I'll generally have like an email first, it might be a phone call or a Teams, and then they'll come in depending on what stage I guess they're at during their stage, like their process. I generally find if I have someone come in face-to-face, they're pretty much secured.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're booking you for sure.
People can visualize.
Yep,
totally.
Doing things on emails or in a photo, sometimes they can't. But once they see it and can touch it, it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah. Just going to like that elevated process of like sitting down, touching, feeling, like seeing all the like Like no one else is really doing that experience. And if they are, it's probably a different style to you.
Oh,
Do you know
definitely.
what I mean?
And that's it. Like we have some artificial stuff that we play around with in the warehouse as well. So you can see colors and tones, but like we've got every napkin that we have on display, every plate, every cutlery, our glassware, like table numbers, like everything is there for people to touch. And like we have quite an extensive range of table linen that, again, haven't really pushed that much and I get in trouble for that all the time. But like some of like our linen range is massive and forever growing. And like, again, table linen makes such a difference on a table.
Totally.
So people sitting there and touching go, oh, it's really soft. And then you can see the different colors of the plates and the creams. Because again, photos can be dictated like colors. And I have that conversation all the time, especially around florals, is that obviously every photographer is different. Everything's edited different.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I rock up on the morning of a wedding and a bouquet is totally different colors to the samples that we showed in a photo, you get murdered. Whereas I'm very much a show as close as possible to what is physically going to be there on the day.
Yeah, fair.
But I said, like my warehouse, I'm open to other stylists coming in. Our wedding planners can come in, use the space, play around with our stock because you know what? They'll probably create something that I might not.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And
So
just
I
more
love
people
it.
seeing it. Is that going to be
Absolutely.
like a separate business or is it still going to be all under Emunah, like as far as styling goes?
So it's all under Emunah as this. Like I had, when I launched my warehouse about 2 years ago, like I had a little open night where I invited a whole bunch of people to come in, have a little look at it. I've got stock that I've sent other places just for them to have consults with their clients. I've had some planners come in and take some stock down to a site visit to them to play with in hope to obviously get the order at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If they're not getting used, I don't mind, come borrow it.
Yeah.
As long as it comes back nice and neat, I don't
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. Please send it back clean.
Exactly. I'm more than happy for people to come play around with stuff because at the end of the day, like that's what we do.
Yeah.
Did you see a massive uptick in bookings, like from when you didn't have the space to now you can actually come down and see us in the space?
Yeah, I definitely like when I started my business, I was out in Ipswich Way.
Yep.
And then when I moved in closer to town into Brizzy, I still had a studio space, but it was like underneath of my house. And like I used to do consults at 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Or 8 o'clock at night because I'd finished work.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas having that independent space, I definitely felt like people were like, probably took me a little bit more seriously because I had this space and it was set out. Like it took me quite a few months to get it to exactly what I'm always adding and changing stuff. But I definitely think when people know that you have a space that they can come into, I think they feel like you're a bit.
Yeah, legit.
I'll use that
sure.
word.
Yeah.
I would hope I'm legit by now.
But it is a different thing. And like
It
every single wedding photographer just works from home and they got their studio at home.
Yeah.
But like and everyone knows like if I actually had a space, it would make a difference.
Yeah.
But then it's like it's a lot of money to
big
fork out
outlay.
every single week just
Absolutely.
to have that space. You've almost got to have like a separate business running out of it to kind of justify having the space.
Correct. And I think if I was just a floral designer or a florist and I was just working from home, wouldn't probably impact me that much at all.
Yeah.
But because I have the styling elements and I push, like I said, like probably 80% of my floral clients book styling and hire.
Yeah.
Sick.
Might not be full styling, but there's definitely a ton of hire.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's it. Again, that's plates, that's cutlery, that's linen, that's candleware, that's tables. Like I've got some select larger fetish. I got a gorgeous bar that comes up here all the time. Those things that not the standard person would have at home.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Where are you sourcing? Like, are you doing buying trips overseas where you're?
I wish. No, I wish I could go overseas. I'm also like my higher range. There's obviously a few elements that would definitely, I would say, a local purchase.
Yep.
And I've definitely know there's a lot of us that have very similar stuff. But I, especially around my charger plates and some of my linens, like I import all of that myself. I searched high and low, especially around charger plates to have something that no one else has.
Yep.
Like I've got plates that have come from China. I have plates that come from Poland. I have plates that no one else in Australia has. And I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I love having things that no one else has. More than happy to say they can come use it.
Yeah. Get photos.
But I definitely like to have a more exclusive range as much. But again, it's just being more true to what we are.
I was going to say, it's that point of difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And again, for me, it's layering of stuff. Like I have a plate that comes in a 3-stack. I've had a few weddings that have wanted 3 stacks. Why? It's completely impractical, but it looks amazing.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
And it
3 stack?
photographs 3 plates,
Oh, right.
charger,
Yeah.
main, side plate, but they all go in one.
Oh, sick.
So then you're like napkin.
Yeah, right.
It's beautiful. Yeah, very detailed.
Yeah. So then the France and like the English trips will come soon. You know,
Oh
like
God,
when you
I
start
wish.
sourcing
Yeah,
over there.
my Lauren and I, my little station in-houser, she'll come with me.
Yeah, perfect.
I don't think we get very far though. I think we
Yeah,
go to the first
yeah.
antique shop like we've wasted all our money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was wondering. Like, do you go to like antique shops like locally and
local stuff. I love getting little bits and pieces. More so because I have them in my office, and if someone wants it, like I've got lounge suites and stuff in my office. If someone wants it, sure. You want to pay for it? No worries. You want that bar? No worries. You want that lounge? Sweet.
Yeah.
I have no issues getting things. A lot of the higher stuff that I have, I've generally got in a sample.
Yep.
This is my little trick. I get in a sample, have it on display. If someone wants it, they book it. I then buy it.
Yeah. It's almost like a drop shipping type of deal. Like you've almost, perfect.
Yeah. And that way, if I have 3 or 4 people might buy before their wedding, I got plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's caught me out a few times. I now have 170 plates that I didn't want. They now have gotten use and everyone loves them.
It's a warehouse sale next time.
That's that 6-month turnover.
Yeah, exactly. There's many of those. But no, I'd love to do an overseas trip and get some stuff that's just can touch and things like that. But my suppliers that I have are pretty good and communication's pretty good.
You were saying before you're like, I hope I'm legit. That's when you know you're legit if you go on like overseas sourcing stuff. You're close.
Go on buying trips.
Close one day. No, I'm pretty damn proud of what Emunah's come from to where she is. There's no real, I guess, limit at this stage to what's possible.
Yep.
Obviously the market and what's happening is all very, very different. It's treating us all different. Like we're surviving.
Yeah, exactly.
Thriving, loving it.
How many do you kind of have a number that you like to sit around for the year?
So last year was probably our biggest year to date where we did 120.
Sheepers.
Yeah. Like I still remember my first initial like couple of years in and my girlfriend, my sister-in-law I should say, and she was like, oh, like we're going to do like 30 this year. And I was like, no, we're not.
No.
And she's like, we're going to make 100 grand. I was like, no, we're not. That number's ridiculous.
So many candles.
I know. Well, at first she was like, when my sister-in-law started this with me, we were like adamant. We did planning coordination to start with.
Yep.
And then florals actually came second. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to start buying stuff. And she's like, no, we are not doing higher. And I was like, no, we'll just get a few things.
Yep.
6-8 years later, I've got a whole warehouse full of it. No, and I wouldn't look back. I wouldn't have it any other way, but I was like adamant. I was like, not doing high, not doing high, not doing high. And the reason why is I hired some stuff from another supplier and I was shocked at the quality of stuff that got delivered and the issues. And I was like, I could do this better.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I think I did.
Yeah. It's like one of those ones where it's like it's not worth having a small range. Like if you're going to do higher, you still got to pay the same price like to store it and to have a staff to manage it and all that kind of thing. You may as well go big if you're going to do it.
That's it. And again, knowing that I have stuff that I guess was a hole in the market or wasn't quite there. Like that's, I guess, where I've differentiated from other people. Linen is a love-hate relationship. I have a lot of linen and I've got more delivering in like the next couple of days and a new range coming. It's so exciting, but that will be the bane of my existence.
Photos to come.
Oh yeah, honestly. I've just rephotographed so much. Like it's insane. But the linen stuff, like it's an upkeep and there's cost factor, but God, it changes the look of a table and a design immensely.
Yeah.
And it's like someone had to do it. Apparently it's me.
Do you want to hash on like a little bit of, because I guess like couples probably don't really know, like, you know, they might get charges like, and I don't actually know if you charge this, but like cleaning fees and things like that. Do you want to kind of like talk on like a few of those things that maybe people might have like a little bit of a pushback against of like, can't I just hire this and whatever?
Yeah, definitely. Like our hire range itself, like we have some items that can be DIY hired, so or dry hired, and you can literally just come collect it from the warehouse. We have a bond. Everyone pays a bond, but depending on what you hire depends on what the bond amount is. If you're just hiring some candlesticks, you're not really going to pay much of a bond. Whereas if you're taking linen, can tell you right now that
you're buying it outright.
Well, this is the thing, like for us in the event industry, like obviously pure linen, it is a pure linen fabric. Anyone who's had a linen dress or a linen shirt, like you know that stuff doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And if you've got a 4 meter long tablecloth that gets one stain, I can't use that because the next client's going to complain about something having a stain on it.
Yeah.
So we do, like we're very upfront about the costs and replacements of our linens or certain items before being hired, because if you're not willing to pay for a replacement, I'll say no.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it just costs me a lot of money. Like we'll custom order linen in for couples if they want a specific color or we need a specific size. Again, we've had that discussion prior to it. Like bonds, most of my bonds get refunded. My couples are pretty good.
Yeah, awesome.
But even if they are, like half the time the bond covers some of the cost factor. We definitely do have a cleaning fee on everything, but we have 3 different levels of cleaning fees.
Okay.
There's like $50 one just for some candles. You haven't got anything. We've then got charger plates depending on the venue.
Yep.
Will also depend on the cleaning fee because some venues won't clean them.
Okay.
Some venues will wash them for us. Some will wash and pack.
Yep.
It just depends on those kind of factors as well. But if you're hiring like pure linen tablecloths, napkins, a whole bunch of charger plates and cutlery, you're going to probably pay a $200 to $300 cleaning fee. Because I can tell you right now that linen we obviously have an external washer that does all our linen. Like I can't fit a 4-meter tablecloth in my washing machine, let alone it's the ironing of it. Like we all iron all our stuff in house. We have a commercial iron that we do it all. That saves me a lot of time.
Jeepers.
Yeah. It's a whole process.
I hate ironing.
Okay.
I actually love ironing tablecloths because it's all that perfect.
Therapeutic.
Yeah. My girls might disagree with me, but there's definitely times I'll happily whip her out and got a structure how it happens.
We're still talking about the linen? Or?
Yeah. No. And that's the mean, like most people are pretty good because they understand there's so much. Like I don't have pick fees or anything like that to pack it. If I'm going on site for your wedding as doing your florals and you've got a whole bunch of hire, I'm already driving there.
Yeah,
so I don't actually charge additional delivery fees pending. I don't need like another van or something. Like it's included in installation costs. Like I'm already going there. Like I don't believe in going, it's actually going to cost you another $200 just to take it with me.
Yeah.
If it fits, it fits.
Yeah.
That's why I end up chucking in random stuff.
Yeah.
Take that too. Take that. Look at that. You want glassware? No worries.
You want glassware. You want candles.
No one gets napkins. I'm all
Don't get them
for
dirty.
it. Just get them back to me.
Yeah.
No, napkin rings will be the bane of my existence at the moment because you know what?
Rings.
Napkin ring. I love a good napkin ring. I have these beautiful pearl ones and the amount of guests I have seen walking out with them around their wrists.
No way.
Oh man, I had one where I lost 25. Yeah. Yeah. This is why we charge a bond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Got them all back
Because
again.
your gifts are thieves.
Yeah. Hey, it's a keepsake. You know what? I actually love the fact that they took them and you know what? They're walking out and they're going to have that around their wrist. They'll probably put it down. They think about that wedding that we were a part of for the next 6 months.
On the side.
Book here.
That's what I need to do.
Branding.
I need to just have my
go.
name on everything.
Yeah. Just your phone number.
Call me. So no, it's good. It's good.
Put you on the spot here.
Ooh.
Is there anything you think in your industry that you would like to see change or anything that annoys you with other, not like specific businesses or anything?
Yeah.
Is there anything that annoys you like within your industry?
For me at the moment, I'm finding there obviously is a lot of copying.
Yeah.
A lot of styling copying. And that always makes my blood, like people say take it as a compliment, but there's a fine line. Sometimes it's like just be your own person.
Yeah.
I think for me at the moment, there's a lot of people, companies that say they do one thing, but I wouldn't really class them as doing that.
Yep.
So
coming back to styling, we got candles and we got something.
yeah,
and
so
we're
as a
stylists.
style, that's what I mean. So as a stylist for me, like we do everything.
Yep.
It is designing. We are designing a concept from start to finish for your day. Like that's not coordination. That's literally just the aesthetics. And like I say, if you tip the room upside down, what falls out apart from the furniture generally,
Yep.
we do all of that. And to me, that's what a stylist is. You're creating a cohesive design. There are a lot of florists that class themselves as stylists that maybe aren't. Having some candles and some other pieces doesn't, I think, define it enough. It definitely helps and can definitely change the aesthetics and obviously pending budget for some clients, like that's what's needed. But I think there's more to it these days.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
And I feel like for us, like if someone comes to us, they know that they're going to get all of it.
Yeah, for sure.
And my blood and my sweat and definitely my tears.
Yeah. Okay. So then for a client looking for a stylist, what should they look for to know they're getting someone like you and someone not like the other business?
www.emunah.
I guess a big thing too, like as us from someone else, is that you can go to a stylist. Like there's some incredible stylists across Queensland and like New South Wales that don't offer florals.
Yep.
And that's fine because there's amazing florals that aren't stylists. And I think they obviously work. So if you're looking for a stylist particularly, my number one thing is, do you actually like what they do? Like if you're going to go look on their Instagram or on their website, like if you're looking for a stylist, like you've actually got to gel with their style.
Yep.
Like that's what they do. That's their bread and butter.
Yep.
Like if I had someone again come to me and like, I really want to book you for styling, but I want natives.
Yep.
I can guarantee you can go on my Instagram and there is not one single photo of a native flower or anything to do with native styling. It's not me. It's not what I do. So I think that's my probably biggest thing is like you actually have to like what you see. Budget's obviously a massive thing. And as a stylist, like I'm pretty bloody upfront with my clients about costings and stuff. And I break it down as best as I can, like gain purpose of things as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate, I guess, difference from what I see from a styling point. But again, there's so many amazing people out there these days and we're all so different.
Yeah.
So different. But
apart from the ones that aren't.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, no one does me. No one does Emunah like me and my girls. That's definitely what sets us apart.
Yeah. And then as far as like movements within the business, like you're saying, you know, like the sky's the limit at the moment.
Yeah.
Is there any other like ways that you're shifting or any ways that you had 120, you said last year?
Yeah.
Any ways that you're trying to grow? Is it more weddings you're trying to take on, more higher budgets you're trying to take on?
I think this year's definitely thrown, I guess, a more spanner in the works, knowing what obviously things.
Cancel 2024. Don't worry about 2024.
Oh, it's still been a great year for us. And I'm super, super happy with what we've achieved and even the styling that we've achieved and the types of clients. Like I've found that year on year, we're getting like our average spend's increasing.
Yep.
Our numbers are still up there. Like they're not going to hit that next year at this stage. And I'm okay with that because my average spend has still gone up. And that's it. I would definitely prefer to have maybe scaled back number of weddings, but higher volume, because for me, we give so much to our clients and that whole process that's so involved with all those different aspects that doing 20 less weddings or 30 less weddings, but we're still giving just as much, if not more.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll take that any day of the week.
That's
as long
just
as the
good
bills get
business.
paid. Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, Emunah will always continue to push a little bit to boundaries.
Yep.
I definitely, for me, like I'd love to do an overseas wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, somewhere in South France would be amazing.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. We just go together
Just look straight at the camera. Same.
overseas,
To all
please.
our French listeners out there.
Yeah.
Please have us. No, I'd love to do one. Like we've done some interstate stuff and it's logistically interesting.
Yeah.
But like, to be honest, I haven't actually traveled that much full stop. New Zealand, love me New Zealand. I'll go there all the time just for fun. Love to do that. That would definitely be something that I do. We are in the process of launching, I guess, a new service, and I teased it a little while ago and then kind of held off for a little bit. And that was more just because the industry was changing, lots of people coming and going. So we do have a new team member on board. She's been with us for a little while now.
Awesome.
Just kind of hides in the background when I need her. So we will be doing full planning and coordination coming into
epic.
2025,
Yep.
which is exciting. And that's literally come off the back of, we've actually done a few weddings for some of their family and they've come in like, we really want you to do this, but we actually want you to do all of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
We can do
Can
that.
we do this?
Yep.
So I found the perfect little person.
That's
and
only in Europe you're doing those. Is that right?
yeah, absolutely. No, we'll start here. And to be honest, like it's a pick and choose.
Yep.
I definitely won't take on things that I don't think are us
Yep.
or are out of our scope. And then also venue based as well. Because you know, there's a lot of venues that don't need them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for
there's
sure.
some venues that will benefit from it. So I'd love private property stuff.
Yep.
We have a beautiful one coming up in Chinchilla.
Oh, you're nice.
Because I love my Western.
Yeah.
Let me go
Yeah.
West any
Yeah.
day of the week. I will take West. I will take Gold Coast, Sunny Coast.
Yep.
There's amazing people up there. They can have it.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
But West, give me Dalby, give me Jimbo House.
100%.
Any day
We were
of the
just at
week.
St. George. We
Yeah,
shot
yeah.
the most insane, so sick out there.
It's so fun out there. And to be honest, they're a different type of crowd, but they know how to party, but
Definitely.
they also love.
We
And they
had-
love doing it.
We had a chat about that, like
Yep.
how loving they
Yeah.
are towards each other.
Yeah.
And even like the respect for elders is
Elders, yeah.
massive.
Insane, hey?
It's so
Yeah.
good. Like
I
we're
love
going to
it.
have Pop up and Pop's going to say grace and everything.
I love it.
But everyone just shut up and listened to him.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
It's like if you're going to, like an East Coast wedding,
Yeah.
you know,
Everyone's on their
work wedding,
phone.
it's like,
Oh,
no one gives a shit.
literally.
Listen,
Yeah.
Dad's saying a speech or something, and they're just like, whatever, just shut up with the speech. When's the beers coming out? Kind of thing.
Literally.
Out there
Yeah.
in the West, like
They're
everyone's
so
listening.
respectful.
Like, it's
Yeah.
so
Yeah, a wedding is massive
Yeah.
and anywhere really. But I just find like the ones that are a little bit more West, those private property kind of ones, like there's still a line. But you know what? They generally have a budget.
Yeah.
They definitely have a budget, which I love.
That farming money.
Absolutely. That's where it's at. But it's also then comes down to style, like this beautiful chinchilla. Like again, we're a very fine art, English inspired. And they're like, we want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out here.
Yeah.
You can't get that local.
Yeah,
And like
exactly.
we'll travel anywhere. Like even Jimbo House, like I will happily drive that 3 hours to Jimbo House because aesthetically wise, it is me.
It's you. Yeah.
I love it. I live and breathe that kind of style.
Yep.
So like travel wise, all that kind of stuff, it's never ending. But
It's kind of fun too, though. Like it's like
I love a road trip.
I was saying something
Taylor
to someone
Swift.
recently, and and where it's like, the difference between like, because some people like hit you up in an inquiry and be like, oh, have you shot here before
Yeah.
or whatever, and they're like, we really just want someone that's shot there before, and it's
Yeah.
like. Obviously, me shooting at Gabbinbar a bunch, it's like it has its pros and cons. Like,
Yeah,
well, not
definitely.
like I know where to be, when to do all the things. I know where the light's going to hit. I know it's going to be, this time because the trees are tall and all those. But then like you go somewhere else, like I'm doing a wedding in New Zealand, like we're getting a helicopter to the snow-capped mountains and all that.
Yeah.
And so they were looking at hiring a New Zealand photographer.
Yeah.
And then they were like a bit more apprehensive about me because I haven't been there before. And I was like, bro, like trust, I got you. Like I will put everything I've got into that. Yeah. It's like same as like people that want to shoot at Gabbinbar or whatever it is.
To be honest, if you're coming to me and you have a venue that I've always like Dubalay, like I've never worked there. I've never shot there. I've never been there. Like to me, that venue is impeccable. Like it looks aesthetically beautiful. I will bend over backwards to be at that venue.
Yeah.
I remember my first ever Gabbinbar wedding, and I always knew that Gabbinbar to me was like, she's the top.
Yeah.
And I remember getting that first inquiry and I was like, I don't care what it takes. I won't make a cent on this.
I will pay you.
I want to do it. And that's it. Literally, I'll pay you to do it. And like that was Jim Ball House for me, the first ever Jim Ball wedding I got. Like being a recommended spot, like I'll happily go there once a week if it means that I'm going to produce what we are any day of the week. But
it's funny you don't travel much because like, that's the exact feeling when you go traveling. But it is like you get this feeling and everything's like bright and shiny because it's something you haven't seen. Like, I live down in Byron and it's all so beautiful down there, but you just take it for granted because you see it every day.
Correct.
And it's the same thing as coming to a new venue. It's like,
definitely. Definitely. Like most of my work comes from venue referrals.
Yeah.
Well and truly. And I said, like, I've got probably 5 or 6 key venues that I'm at frequently.
Yeah.
And I love going to my same places. I get to know the staff back of house and I feel like I'm a part of their team. I'm just an extension of them.
Yeah.
It's always a little nerve-wracking going to a new venue that you've never worked at, especially if you're the outsider.
For sure.
And there's other people who are there every day of the week. Like you're like, oh, hi, I live on the side. That's what I do.
Like I'll know you in 6 months.
Exactly. And there's definitely like I've gone and had meetings with venues. I'm like, I don't want you to refer me until I have a wedding here.
Yeah.
Because unless you like what I do, you're not going to want to work with me.
Yeah.
Like let's actually work together.
Yep.
Like I can give you a silver platter, but it's what you do with it.
I think there's so much to that. I think that maybe some couples think that a recommended vendor list is just like, oh, this person's stuff looks good.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's like, there's so much more.
There is so much
to
more.
doing pretty stuff.
You don't, like there's definitely places that you can go on a recommended list and just be added.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to go on it? Yeah, sure, no worries.
Yeah, pay here.
Exactly. Directories. You pay to do on them. I don't do directories. Whereas if you're actually recommended from a venue, they actually want to work with you.
Yeah,
they like what you do, their style, the design, your communication, your service. Like it means so much as a vendor, especially like I love my venues that I work at and I love being recommended by them because it means that they actually care about me.
Yeah, for sure.
And who doesn't want that?
No.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it's good.
Honestly, I think that's a really good place to wrap up.
I love it.
Is there anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, I don't think so.
I've been really enjoying it. I was just like, that was an hour that went really quickly.
Oh, wow. Was it? I love that. Hey, I only swore like once. Yes,
done.
you proud of me, honey?
All right. Well, where can people find you?
Yep. So for me, social media is great. So at Emunah Events, and that's EMUNAH.
Yep.
Emunah.
Yeah.
Emunah is fine, but Emunah is what it is. And www.emunahevents.com.au.
Perfect. And watch you in all the different spaces.
I know. Hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming
pleasure.
on.
Thanks for having me.
It's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedco podcast. We're dropping a fresh episode every week featuring industry professionals dishing out the wedding wisdom you need to turn those dreams into reality. Make sure you are following us on social media, you have those notifications turned on so we can help plan your wedding day. Your dream wedding day just got a whole lot easier. Thanks for listening.